I'm building a twin-turbo drag and drive Silverado entirely out of junkyard parts, and drag racing season is just around the corner, and we're nowhere near ready to get this thing down the track. Last time you guys saw this truck, we just barely got the engine started up with the turbos in place. But there's a million little plumbing things that we need to take care of. I've got the attention span of like 10 minutes at a time right now. It's been very difficult to get anything done on the truck lately because we're in that last part of the project where, you know, the last little bit of work takes the most amount of time. But today we're jumping right in and we're trying to make some progress. Most of the time when you think of work boots, the first thing that comes to mind is how heavy, stiff, and uncomfortable they are to wear. And because of this, I used to just wear my skate shoes around the shop, which is not the smartest idea, especially when we're cutting, grinding, welding, and working around heavy equipment. But when I got my first pair of Brunt work boots, that completely changed my perspective of how comfortable and durable a pair of boots can be. I've been wearing my Brunt Marin boots for a couple of months now, and right away I fell in love with how comfortable they were from day one. But after months of daily use, they continue to offer support. So at the end of the day, it doesn't feel like I've been standing on concrete floors all day long, even though that's exactly what I've been doing. They're breathable, so your feet won't get too hot. Plus, they're slip, heat, and oil resistant, which is perfect in a shop environment like this. But my favorite thing is they're designed by actual real-life blue-collar workers. So you know they're designed to take all the abuse that you can dish out. But the best part is they're affordable, so they're not going to break the bank. So if you want to grab a pair of the most comfortable and durable work boots that you'll ever own, click the link below and use my code Tolman10 to get 10 bucks off your first purchase today. Try them out on the job, and if you don't like them, just send them back. In order to get the twin turbo install finished up and get the truck ready to make its first pass down the strip, naturally the very first thing that we're going to do is take apart the interior. Now, I am waiting on an intercooler, so this technically isn't that much of a holdup, but it's going to allow us to fix a problem that I've been noticing ever since we got this truck put together. Because we assembled it from junkyard parts, we have a mismatch going on in the interior. The seats and the wiring underneath the carpet are from an 05, and everything else is from an 03. And this mismatch causes an airbag light or an error to be flashing on the dashboard. Now, this is a race truck, but it's also going to spend a lot of time on the street. And I am going to take my family with me for cruises and things like that. And I just want all the safety features to work. Hopefully, we never need the airbag, but in the event that we do, I want to make sure that all the features are functioning like they were intended. So, by replacing the under-carpet wiring harness and the airbag module, I'm hoping everything will be restored and working like it should. I also need to find a different front passenger seat that has the correct sensors to work with the 03 wiring. The 05 seat still causes the airbag error to turn on the dash. But as it turns out, the correct seat is kind of hard to find. I'm kind of kicking myself right now because this whole airbag light situation and a different seat problem, it's very annoying. I want to solve it. And the reason I'm kicking myself is because I had, at one point in time, the correct seat that I need to make this work. I even went back and checked the footage of the blue donor truck. There's no airbag light on. But I got rid of those seats because they weren't as nice as these ones here. And I had no idea at the time that there was even a difference in the wiring. So the hunt continues, but the interior is mostly back together. I'm glad I got the floor harness in place. So now when I do find the right seat, all I have to do is pop it out and either swap the seat or else like swap the guts and the wiring because these seats are in such good shape. And I've been doing a lot of cleaning too here and there because this truck, you know, the windows were down on one of them. The blue donor truck, for example, had windows down for like a year and a half. So there's a lot of dust and dirt and grime. So it's looking good. It's mostly cleaned up. Still need to find a sill plate on this side, for example, because the one I have, all the clips are busted on it. A couple of clips missing on the panel below the driver's steering wheel, but we'll get that stuff rounded out. I even went ahead and just did some little stuff like this, putting the tailgate cap on. This is the 05 style, I believe. I like how it looks. It's just kind of another finishing touch. And yeah, I mean, it's coming together. The truck is ugly, of course, but that's kind of my thing. Is I love the whole multicolor look. I love even some of the little dents down here. It just gives it character. Fun fact, by the way, I did go to the DMV and get it registered this week, and I was trying to get the license plate ugly truck, UGLYTRK, 7 characters, would have been perfect, but apparently someone else in Colorado thought of that idea before I did. So it's kind of a bummer, but I guess we'll just do regular license plates. And this is a fun moment because we have like 3 years of dust and grime from sitting in storage to wash off. And we can now drive it to the car wash. Here we go. A little while later, we're at the house, just putting some miles on the truck. Right now we're at, grand total is 160 miles. Running good, looking good. Definitely love the Arrival blue there. Someday the whole truck is going to be that color. But for now, I mean, right there, that's my favorite angle. I love this truck. So back on the twin turbo portion of the install, plumbing is the name of the game. Since you guys have seen this last, we haven't done a whole lot. Like I have relocated the heater lines. We got the front grill pulled off just because I was taking some measurements. I pulled the old transcooler bracket off. So still waiting on an intercooler, but we need to do the cooling system. Like we mentioned, we already relocated the heater lines, so we're going to be doing away with the pressure tank. I'll show you the solution for that in a little bit. But first, these are a liquid cooled turbo actually. It's the Summit GTX3582R. I believe we're like at 1400 horsepower potential between the two of them, which is going to be really spunky on this truck. We have the oil plumbed to them. Obviously, when we started the thing up, they needed to be lubricated, but these also have ports on either side for liquid cooling. We just need to tie into the engine's cooling system. There's a hose in there. We're just doing some mock-up to help the turbos run nice and cool and help them last as long as possible. We're going to tie into the water pump for the feed. The return will be in the upper line. Again, we'll build this and I'll show you that later. But first things first, we'll get the water pump pulled off. We'll drill and tap for some NPT ports. We'll get this thing plumbed up. So we're going to be putting 2 1/4-inch NPT to 6AN adapters here. This is actually the outlet from the engine. So cold coolant comes in here, flows through the block, up through the cylinder head, goes to the front of the head and comes out here from both sides. This is where it goes back to the upper radiator hose. But we're going to intercept it there and send some of it to the turbos. Yes, this will not be the coldest coolant available, but it'll be like maybe 220, 230 degrees, where the turbos are like 1,000. So it's still going to be way cooler than the turbo that is cooling. Isn't that cool? Now I had considered welding these in, but the only reason I don't want to do that is, one, you don't want to put a lot of heat on the pump because there's the seals in here that could get melted. And number 2, in the future, if this water pump ever fails and needs to be replaced, well, it'll just be a couple of minutes to drill 2 new holes and tap it rather than having to weld a bunch of stuff up. I have 2 pieces of this PTFE hose left. I think it's just going to be barely enough to do this. Fingers crossed. And do you need PTFE hose for low temperature coolant? No. But if you have it, you might as well use it. That way everything on the truck is kind of plumbed the same way. Gotta be careful with these, because every now and then if you get a little piece of steel braid in the thread, it'll gall up the fittings like crazy. So I've been using this Summit PTFE hose on just about everything. It's great stuff, but I hate the braided look. So to hide it, make it look a little neater and give it a little heat protection, I put this silicone fire sleeve stuff on, but I hate the ends because you can kind of see the little fuzzy, so I've been putting just regular heat shrink like this over the ends to kind of clean it up and give it a kind of OEM look. So I've been looking for a correct pair of seats. I went to, I think, 5 or 6 different people on Marketplace hoping I could find one. Came up empty. I finally got smart, realized there's probably an RPO code out there that describes the seat that I need. So with a little bit of digging, AE7 and AL0 are the 2 RPO codes that I need to match up. Go to carpark.com, punch in that, and lo and behold, there's a junkyard in Pueblo, or Pueblo, as I think the native Colorado people call the city. So that's what we're doing right now. We're headed to the junkyard. We are going to hopefully get the correct seat, and then when we get back, we'll put it in, and fingers crossed, our airbag light issues will be solved, which is going to make my brain so incredibly happy. So happy, in fact, that I'm not working on the twin turbo install right now. I'm driving to get a seat, because that's the way my brain works, folks. All right, guys, we found one. This is what we needed. The seat with 2 plugs, and they even gave me a little extra harness. Let's get this back. So the main problem is just the mismatch between the seat and the rest of the truck. I did already go through and replace the entire floor harness. We had the carpet out, we swapped the 05 harness out for the 03 one. So the seat was like the last piece of the puzzle, and now thankfully we have it. So hopefully everything in the seat works, and it'll turn off that light. And thankfully the incorrect seat and the new correct seat are pretty much in the same condition. I did vacuum it up a bunch, but no tears, cushion looks good. So this should be a direct swap. And if you guys were good, you probably noticed this before I even did. Of course, I got the seat in, but this feature, which I like, is missing from the new seat. But I can, I guess, swap the guts from one seat over to another. The most important thing I want to see is, does the light come on? It's flashing. It says service airbag. Let's see if we can clear that code and if it stays gone. Hang tight. Well, our code, I believe, has something to do with these 2 wires right here, because you won't be able to feel this, but you can maybe see it. In this little section of tape right here, there are no wires. I can pretty much do that. So I guess this is a common problem, sliding the seat back and forth, the wires just chew through. So quick repair, and I believe we will be in business. So we're gonna fix both problems at once. I pulled the good harness that we need out of the junkyard seat. We're gonna make the repair, and then we're gonna put it in my good seat. I gotta swap the module here, but other than that, everything is the same. So we'll have a good seat and no airbag light. And for you nerds out there like me who like to know the details, that module right there is the main difference. That is, I'm guessing what controls the passenger occupant sensor in this style that I need. The seat rail position sensor is the same. Buckle plug is the same. The pressure sensor plug and part number is basically a map sensor there for the sensor itself. That's the same. Everything else is the same except for this and the harness. So continue to swap it over. And a short time later, we have the 2003 wire harness repaired, and it's attached to the 2005 seat with the armrest and the correct module. So we'll get this back in the truck, and I think the light will be off for good. All right, back to the good seat with the good electronics. Let's see if this works. Come on, there we go. All right, airbag light blinking. Stays off. It does not say service airbag, and the light's off. So that one will go away when we buckle up. These two, they have to do with the ABS module that's actually missing, so we'll take care of that. But we have success. This has bugged me for so long. I'm so happy. This is awesome. And just to confirm, I came over and sat in the passenger seat, and the little airbag indicator went to on. So everything's working. This is great. The last 90% of the project, no, that's wrong. The last 10% of the project takes 90% of the time. And that's the spot that we're kind of in right now. And it's so hard to make progress just mentally because there's so much left to do. And we've made a tiny bit of progress today. We're still waiting on some parts, but we're just gonna do a brain dump right now and show you all the things that we have left to do on the 03 twin turbo drag truck. Wiring harness still needs to be completely removed and wrapped. We have to relocate a few things like the temp sensor I'm going to put on the back of that head because this one's too close to the turbo. We've got to add the inlet air temp sensor where the mass airflow sensor harness used to go. We've got to put in a bigger fuel pump, bigger fuel injectors, bigger fuel line from the regulator to there. We do have 10 AN from there all the way back to the tank. We have to build an exhaust with an X pipe, with mufflers. We have to build a different A-frame up here to push the transcooler back. We need to get our intercooler. We need to mount the intercooler. We need to make the tubing for the intercooler from the turbo inlet on both sides. We have to do the charge pipe from the intercooler into the engine. Over here, we have to relocate the battery. We have to move the computer. Oh my goodness, what else? We have to build the upper radiator hose and have like a junction right here with a radiator cap on it. We'll have both of the outlets from each of the turbos. We do have the inlet of the coolant plumbed, which that's wrong. I'll show you that later. That's technical. But we need to have the coolant outlet from each turbo into the upper radiator hose. We need to, I think that's mostly it. No, that's not it. We still have to build the transmission because it's a stock 4L80. We have to put in a better torque converter because right now it's a stock one. I just noticed the hood light on that truck is on, which by the way, that is a supercharged TBI 454 dually in really awesome shape. So yeah, that right there, the last minute and a half is the perfect representation of what's going on in my brain at any given moment. And then we have the other truck project, the daily driver, that I'm going to be doing a cam and a supercharger, probably a 6.6 L8T swap. I'd love to do a 10-speed swap on that at some point. I do want to do another giveaway in the next 6 to 8 weeks, ideally, maybe. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, in a nutshell, that's why it takes a while to get things done. But when you stop, take a breath, and let everything kind of slow down, you realize, hey, we're making pretty good progress. We have a really cool truck because at the end of the day, it's my favorite body style. I love that it's all mismatched and kind of hokey looking. It's a twin turbo 6.2. We've got liquid cooled turbos and it's awesome. So thank you guys for watching my craziness. Come back soon. We might be going racing next time.